There is no quick backstory that led me to the making of this video. No fun adventure from real life that reminded me of a game from my past. No series of weird coincidences that got me on the trail of a hidden gem. No instance of me playing a game that got me interested in a subgenre of games that led me to the obscure corners of the video game library. No, I was just watching YouTube videos one day about weird Japanese games and I came across this video made by a sexy Dutchman. In the video, most of the games the Sexy Dutchman talks about weren't really my thing, except one, and we're gonna talk about it because it's really interesting. Hello and welcome to Growing Up Gaming, the show on the YouTube where I, a nerdy young Gandalf looking motherfucker, digs through the backlog of gaming to find the games that for one reason or another didn't get the best critical or commercial reception, and review them so I can answer the question, are they worth your time? And the game that is the topic of this episode is really rad. The game is Mizzurna Falls, and it is a Japanese exclusive open world exploration horror mystery game heavily inspired by Twin Peaks, and is for the PS1, making it one of the first open world 3D games ever. And we're gonna talk about it. So the game opens up with an aesthetic intro not unlike the intro to a certain cult classic TV series, and after the impressive for the time intro concludes, our perspective changes to the hero of our story, Matthew, as he is awoken by a phone call. His friend has gone missing, not unlike the plot to a certain cult classic TV series. As Matthew enters his uncle's shop, he is approached by the local sheriff Morgan, who informs us that not only is his friend Emma missing, but another girl from his school, Kathy Flannery, was found badly injured in the woods a short while ago. Matthew decides to accompany Morgan to the hospital and ask Kathy questions, and hopefully get a lead on Emma. But before we go to the hospital, can we just take a minute to appreciate these visuals? They are not impressive by today's standards, but come on, this is a PlayStation 1 game. This draw distance would have been impressive on a PS2, so the fact that it's even possible on a PS1 just blows my mind. Anyways, later at the hospital, Morgan heads into Kathy's room while Matthew waits outside. But shortly after doing so, we hear Kathy's heart rhythm machine go absolutely bananas, and then she lets out a blood-curdling scream and dies. Something doesn't feel right about this, so Matthew decides to meet up with Morgan at the police station, and at the police station, Morgan fills Matthew in on the details of the case. And from there on out, it's up to us, the players, to solve the mystery of the dead girl and his missing friend. The opening hour of the game that we just played through acts as an introduction sequence. It introduces us to locations that we will at one point or another need to revisit to gather clues, and it also introduces us to a fair amount of the characters that will be important for the story later. But what we do and when we do it is completely up to us from here on out. This is the first of 7 days, and in these 7 days we must solve the death of Kathy and the disappearance of Emma. The game operates on a 7-day, 24-hour time schedule. Every NPC in the game is important and they have their own lives. They will wake up in the morning, go to work, go back from work, maybe go grocery shopping or whatever they like to do, and then return home in the evening and go to bed, and repeat the cycle all over the next day. We can from this point do whatever we want, whenever we want. The game doesn't have a traditional win condition. The objective is obviously to solve the two mysteries that we were just introduced to. But once the 7th day is over, the game will end and it won't inform us whether or not we solve the mysteries correctly or not. Whatever conclusion we arrive to when the 7 days comes to a close will be the ending. again, this is a PS1 game. I know you're probably aware of this by now, but I feel I have to keep reminding myself because it's fucking crazy. Even today there aren't a lot of games that could pull this off, so the fact that a 20-year-old game could just boggles my mind. Alright, enough gushing about the technicals, let's get into the meat of the game. Let's solve ourselves a mystery. And this is normally the point in my video where I continue to outline the game's plot until it gets into spoiler territory, and critique the game's mechanics, narrative, soundtrack and whatnot at certain points in the story where those observations would fit in. But I can't, because when you play this game for any extended amount of time, this happens. At first I thought it was just a fluke, so I restarted, but then this happened again. So I loaded up a quick save and so I finally decided to boot up the Japanese version instead, and it works fine. As fine as this game can work, at least. I really want to play this game, but attempting to do so is trying, to say the least, because of the language barrier. So waiting around for an English translation is really the only good option at this point, but here's the issue. There have been 2 attempts to do a translation patch for the game. The game actually has a fully translated script available online, but there's a problem. When the script is implemented into the game, it will crash as shown earlier after an extended amount of playtime. So the game doesn't just need a translation patch, it also needs a bit of modding as well. The English translation takes up more virtual RAM than Japanese translation does, because Japanese needs less characters to communicate the same message. And when changed to English, that little bit of extra text strains the game's already hard-working virtual RAM and makes the game crash. There's one hacker that I know of that's been shown to be capable of fixing this, and there are videos online that shows his build working, but unfortunately, he has moved on to more popular projects, which I completely understand, and that's sort of Mizzurna Falls' issue. It's a fantastic game and it deserves its dedicated fandom, and if there was an English patch I'm certain that it would have one, but that's the paradox. The game won't get a translation patch until there's enough buzz around it, but it can't get enough buzz until there's a translation patch. So what do? Well, we do what we can. We spread the word of this game, make people aware that it's a thing that exists. And we do that by using the hashtag Mizzurna Falls, and we share it on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, you name it. And when people ask what the fuck is this, we link them to Resident Evie's playthrough of the game, because it's really good, but also because it's literally the only playthrough of the game out there. So, hashtag Mizzurna Falls, spread it, promote it, do whatever. Just make sure that the word gets out there, and maybe, just maybe, we can manage to create enough buzz around this so that a ROM hacker will be interested and get in on the action, and maybe, just maybe, we will have a fully translated Mizzurna hack sometime in 2019. Wouldn't that be fucking amazing? Alright, so this was Mizzurna Falls, a thing that we'll hopefully get to play if we manage to create enough buzz around it sometime in 2019. Normally at the end of these things I answer the question, should you play this or not? And the answer is yes, with an asterisk, because you can't. Not fully at least, unless you read Japanese, so I will link the alpha build of the translated ROM in the description of this video. And if you think this might be for you, download it and play it until it crashes, and then let the world know what you think about it. Meanwhile, I'll be playing the Japanese version, and I'll be translating my way through the entire game, and give it an actual full-size review. Cause I'm a crazy son of a bitch and I get really obsessed about things I can't have. And I'm rambling and it's time to wrap this up, so go play the thing I just played. Link is in the description. Bye!